Let's bring in our expert on jihadist movements, Wassim Nazar, joining us by phone. Wassim, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
This man, Redouane Lakhdim, claiming that he was part of the Islamic State group, claiming the attack. Do we believe that this is actual fact, or do we believe this is opportunism?
I don't believe it's opportunism, since he said himself that he is acting on behalf of the Islamic State, and then the Islamic State claimed the responsibility for his action. That's on one hand. On the other hand, he also claimed, and this is the France 24 information that I got hours ago, that he asked for the release of Salah Abdeslam, so the last remaining member of the commando who made the Paris attacks. So all this links him to the Islamic State. But besides that, we have to see if there's an organizational link, or if he's just acting on behalf of. But anyways, in both cases, he's acting for the organization, and the organization claimed the attack, so it should be taken seriously. And I don't think that it could be called opportunism, since the two sides claimed this action, as I just said.
Indeed, Wassim, you're very, very clear on that. Very clear. Gerard Collomb, the Interior Minister, stating this man acted as a lone wolf. However, by the nature of what's happened, I mean, 3 separate incidents. There's been a carjacking, 1 killed, 2 killed at the supermarket, an element of planning, clearly, and guns have been obtained. Now, in terms of acting as a lone wolf, that's a lot to organise by yourself. Do you think this man perhaps had accomplices, friends, people who were helping him?
It's too soon to say what kind of accomplices he had, but what I can tell you, since I'm following these issues since years, that I don't believe in the lone wolf theory. In all the cases, but if you look at the number of lone wolves that we have, it's a big pack today. And if you look on each case, you can see that there are accomplices, ramifications, links, virtual or real, with one organization or another. So it's too soon in this case to establish what are the real links, but there is no case in jihadi terror actions where it was really a lone wolf action. The only really lone wolf action, it was Breivik, and it wasn't a jihad at the time. So, and I guess that today all scholars and each and every person who's working on these issues can tell you that we always see links and ramification, and nobody acts like going to the action can be made alone, but the preparation, how did he get the gun? How did he have links with people in Syria, in Iraq, or in Libya, or in Tunisia? I remember one of the latest attacks in Great Britain, the links were to Libya and not at all towards Syria and Iraq. So it's the beginning of the investigation. But one more time, I don't think that this lone wolf theory is quite accurate regarding jihadi terrorist action.
Indeed. Anders Breivik, the man you referred to in 2011, killed, of course, around about 70 people, mostly children, in Norway. He, perhaps the only lone wolf, as you were talking about it. Wassim, can you just tell us a little bit more about what the motivation might be? You study these things. You monitor what's going on. What is the motivation? What could have led this man to act?
Actually, those people are convinced people that they should wage jihad in Western countries, as they think and they assume that Western countries are waging a war in Muslim countries. So those are the basics of any jihadi sympathizer. And today we see that the threat is coming from inside Western countries rather from the outside, because all the actions, or most of the actions that happened or occurred in any Western countries were made by nationals or by people who were living in this country since a while. So even the commando that was sent from Syria to attack in Paris, it was mostly constituted by French and Belgian nationals. So they weren't foreigners at all, even though they got trained in Syria. And from that point, all the attacks that occurred here were made by people that are nationals of the countries that are attacked. So today, jihad is attractive for some people, as other violent ideologies were too attractive to other kinds of populations, for example, in the 20th century. And today, jihadi groups like Al-Qaeda, like the Islamic State, they succeeded in a way to create their own myth and to recruit even in Western streets. So I guess that this phenomena, we are just witnessing the beginning of this phenomena, and the end of the territorial control in Syria and Iraq for the Islamic State wouldn't sign the end of the ideology, knowing that they are very prosperous in countries like Afghanistan, still in Libya, Yemen, and especially also in Egypt, in Sinai. So it's the beginning of a phenomena that I think, in my humble opinion, will be the phenomena of the century, as violent communist movements were the phenomena of the last century.